Alright guys, welcome to a Q&A for this week. So I'm going to answer some questions that you've all been asking, well, you've been dying to know. So I've got a trusty helper with me, so I'm going to read out those questions, trusty helper. So what's the first question?
First question is, why does it take so long to feel improvements doing push-ups?
Okay, so push-ups engages your body from top to bottom, so involves quite a few muscle groups, hips, legs, abdomen, arms and chest. So if any of those muscle groups are lagging, they might actually impede your push-up performance. So like with everything else, what are you doing to improve your push-ups? Are you doing it once a week? Are you doing it twice a week? If so, it's all about practice. So progressively overload with more reps or more sets to see an improvement. So you're not going to improve much just doing it once a week. And as I said, try to improve on the bits that you think are lagging. So if your hips are sagging, you might be inclined to do a bit more core work during your week as well. So yep, improvements on anything is going to take a bit of time, but push-ups, they're actually quite hard. Simple program could be starting off on your knees and then progressively go onto your toes as those knee push-ups are getting better and better. So want perfect form for those. So hope that answers the first one. And what's the next question?
Second question is, well really it's, what's your thoughts on the carnivore diet?
Thoughts on the carnivore diet? I don't really have too many thoughts on it. I think any sort of diet that restricts you ultimately is not sustainable. But on the other hand, I have tried the carnivore diet, not 100% accuracy, but just eating meat in the afternoon and then eating a few vegetables and stuff for dinner. So I noticed that I did get more mental clarity. You don't get the crash after eating, so that's one notable thing. But a lot of people report, I've got some notes here, positive results. So lower inflammation, so if you have any skin problems, they notice that that's kind of resolving itself. Fat loss, more energy, and just better digestion overall, which a lot of people find that hard to believe as you're just eating meat. So what is the carnivore diet? It's basically just eating animal products. So red meat, organ meats, poultry, fish, eggs, anything animals. A lot of people say that the plants that you eat, or all the vegetables, they have a few toxins in there, and that creates a bit of a stress response in some people. And that stress is not necessarily bad. Like exercise. Exercise is a stress. So it's also actually called, for a term called hormesis, meaning it's a good stress and it could be good for you. But potential side effects to this diet, lacks phytonutrients from plants like resveratrol, that's the stuff from wine. And you don't know the long-term side effects of this. So there's no real studies long-term. But in the past, there were some ancestral populations that were carnivores, strictly carnivores, namely the nomads of Mongolia, Gaucho Brazilians. I remember like a Brazilian barbecue called Gaucho, so Gaucho Brazilians, and a few more that I haven't listed. But I'd say give it a dabble, and worst comes to worst, you can always go off it. But all in all, anything too restrictive is not sustainable in my eyes. So, all right, what's the next one?
I hate stretching. What should I do?
You hate stretching. So one thing is for sure, something that you hate to do and you want to force yourself to do it, you're not really going to do it. Like, that's one thing. That's why I go for the approach of do something that you want to do, and even if you don't want to do it, find ways that you're going to be able to do it. But it really depends on your goals. So stretching for relaxation is great. So if you want to wind down, stretching is great for it. But to increase flexibility and mobility in the long term, it's not going to get you far, because stretching is temporary, and in order for you to change, you need a stimulus. So there's no real stimulus in stretching. That's why when you do a weighted exercise, there's a stimulus attached to that. So if you're stretching and you're searching for more mobility, and try not to be as stiff. Add some weight to it, weight bearing exercise to it. So movement is key. So if you want to be more mobile, move more in all positions: hinge, bend, twist, and push and pull. Okay, I hope that answers it.
Next question. Ketosis explained. Does coffee knock you out of ketosis?
Ketosis. So a keto diet. Keto diet is basically where you are eating a very low content of carbs. Usually this diet is moderate protein, high in fat, and low carbs. So basically your body switches from burning sugars from sugars to fats. So your main source of fuel is fats. So there's a bit of a period where you might feel foggy. That's where your metabolism's trying to adapt and use fats for fuels instead of sugars. But what the body does is with those fats, it converts it into ketones, which is basically the conversion of fats into sugars for your body to use. This state is definitely achieved only by low carb. So usually these diets no more than 20 to 50 grams of carbs per day to stay in ketosis. So the benefits are you can improve your mental state similar to the carnivore diet and better digestion. A lot of people find that just eating less, restricting yourself, you'll get a bit more better digestion. So in keto, you mainly stick to meats and plants really. You're not going for the pastas, you're not going for the rice or the breads, and even abstaining from some fruits. But yeah, all in all, it's a restrictive diet, and a lot of people get fat loss from it, mainly because you are limiting your calories, and it's ultimately about eating less if you want to burn off fat. So what your body requires right now, you need to eat less than that for it to burn more fat. Does coffee knock you out of ketosis? Depends if you have any sugar or milk in it. So if you have sugar, that might knock you above 20 to 50 grams of carbs per day, and that's going to knock you out of ketosis. But black coffee, that's definitely my go if you're trying ketosis, a keto diet. I've tried it myself in the past. I think it's not sustainable in the long run, but it's definitely more sustainable than the carnivore diet because you get a few more choices in fruits and veggies and all those kind of delicious things that you all enjoy. Yeah, my thoughts is give it a go. If you can't stick to it, then there's really no point. All right, I think this is the final question.
Last one. So portion size for fat loss.
Portion size for fat loss. Probably the most important discussion here is portion size is the most effective way to lose body fat. It's simple and it's sustainable. So basically what you're eating now, but just less of it. So your current body weight is determined by your current activity levels and the amount of food that you put in. Any changes to this, for example, we're limiting portion sizes here, you'll decrease your total energy intake for the whole entire day, and then over the course of weeks, you'll get notable differences in body fat just because that compounding effect of eating less, you're going to lose body fat. It's as simple as it gets. So combine that with exercise, you're going to create a more bigger deficit in your calorie intake and output. So that is basically it. There's no rocket science to that. Eat less, weigh less. That's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that Q&A, and I'm going to do a few more over the next coming weeks. So think of those questions.